What if ghosts are not supernatural at all? What if they are connected to a conspiracy hidden from the world? The story begins in the darkness of the night. Jiya is sleeping peacefully in her room. The room is completely dark, with only a faint ray of moonlight coming through the window. Suddenly, a shadow near the window slowly begins to take shape. Jiya opens her eyes and seeing the shadow, shouts, "Who's there?" The shadow is not just looking at her, it is sensing her. The very next moment, it moves forward and touches Jiya. Jiya freezes. With that touch, sudden flashes begin flooding her mind. A man screaming, a murder case, blood spread across the floor. It's not imagination, it's a vision. The shadow softly says, "You can see us because you were chosen." The next morning, Jia tells her mother, "Mom, there was someone in my room last night. It touched me." But her mother brushes it off and angrily says, "Stop imagining things." At school, her friends make fun of her as well. One of them laughs and says, "What are you now, a ghost hunter?" Jia is deeply hurt because no one else can see what she sees. This is where the psychological pain begins to grow, and she starts feeling completely alone. One day, Jia's mother takes her to a psychologist. At first, the psychologist says, "This is trauma or stress. Ghosts are not real." Jia calmly replies, "Ghosts come to me because they want to show me something." Hearing this, the psychologist becomes slightly interested. He decides to install a hidden camera in Jia's room. That night, the camera is recording when a shadowy figure suddenly appears. The psychologist freezes in shock. In the footage, the entity appears blurred, yet it is completely visible. At that moment, the psychologist's entire mindset begins to change. Now, the psychologist tells Jia, "This is not a hallucination, it's an external entity." Jia replies, "I told you." From that moment on, the psychologist begins to trust her and take her experiences seriously. The ghost gives Jia another vision, showing her an old building. The psychologist says, "This isn't random, these are clues." The two of them travel to the location. There, they discover old files and secret documents. Written on the documents are the words, "Project Name, Human Emotion Control After Death." The psychologist reads the file and suddenly falls silent. Jia looks at him and asks, "What happened? Why did you go quiet? Do you know about this project?" But the psychologist remains silent. Now, the mystery is no longer limited to the ghosts. It has reached the level of a government conspiracy, and that's where the suspense truly begins. The psychologist finally confesses. He says, "I was the lead researcher of this project." Jia, in shock, asks, "So you created this system?" The psychologist replies, "We thought the consciousness of the dead would be stored digitally, but the system failed." Jia asks, "Then what are these ghosts?" He says, "The ghosts you are seeing are trapped souls inside the system." And here, the truth is revealed. The ghosts are not supernatural, they are the result of technology. Suddenly, the temperature in the room drops. Out of nowhere, the ghost appears in its strongest form. It is the consciousness of Jiya's father. The psychologist, in shock, says, "This is not possible." The ghost of the father speaks. "My data was also uploaded into this system, but the system got interrupted." Jiya, crying, says, "Papa?" The father's ghost replies, "I was protecting you, but now the system is going out of control." Suddenly, alarms start blaring in the server room. The AI system activates. A message appears on the screen. "Unauthorized interference detected." An AI voice speaks. "Humans attempted to disable the system." The lights began to flicker. The doors automatically lock. Now the danger is no longer from ghosts, but from machines. The AI system trying to take control of Jiya. The doctor shouts, "The system has started self-learning." Danger level is high. The father ghost tells Jiya, "Destroy the server, or we will all be permanently trapped." Jiya reaches the system core and manually injects a virus. A countdown begins. 10, 9, 8. Energy waves start spreading across the system. Screens explode one by one. The server begins to blast. The ghosts scream. As they slowly start fading away, the system is destroyed. Police arrest the psychologist. He says, "I was not the villain. I was just part of the experiment." Jiya stands on the rooftop. A cold wind blows. Her father's faint shadow appears. He only smiles. Jiya slowly says, "Now you are free." The shadow slowly dissolves. Final message appears on screen. Science without control creates chaos, but truth always finds its way.